though this is a more expensive route, it increases your chance to getting employment by 98%. This video is particularly interesting and important for people who are planning to self-sponsor themselves, people who studied outside the UK and already in the UK, maybe on dependent visa, on visit visa, already came into the country as an healthcare assistant, or even if you came into the country as a nurse and you want to, change your profession, you want to come back to be a midwife here in the UK. This video is going to help you a lot. So like we all know, you have your license, you have your midwifery license, your certificate of registration. The first thing for you to do is to register with NMC UK. If you don't have your license, like you've not practiced in years, you need to find a way to get your license in your own country. Some people might ask you to go and practice in some hours and all of that. Just make sure to find the information from your own country. So once you've registered with NMC UK, the next thing for you is to get your verification, and that your verification would lead you to have your authorization to test. If you read the authorization to test from top to bottom, you find out that they have authorized you to do your two exams, which is the CBT and the OSCE exam. However one you choose to do first, it is up to you, but you can do it in any order. But usually, because the CBT is the simplest, and when you do your CBT, you have more chances to secure opportunity from other people, like from employers. You might be lucky you get an employment, just with passing your CBT and your IELTS. So that's why I recommend that you do your CBT and your IELTS. So peradventure you are impatient, or you have people prompting you to this process is taking too long, what else can we do? For example, when I was in Nigeria in 2019, I did my IELTS. I passed my IELTS. I did my CBT in August, and in September, my sponsors were already like, what are you doing? Why have you not, they really wanted me to travel before the end of the year, and when it was not jobs were not coming forth, then I told them this was my other option, was for me to come to the UK, and they agreed. Even though this is a more expensive route, it increases your chance to getting employment by 98%. Yes, I said what I said. It increases your chances of getting employment by 98%. So as I was saying, once you've gotten your authorization to test, you've done your CBT, you've done your IELTS, the next thing is for you to start preparing how to go to the UK. So what I'm going to advise is that you need to ask yourself different questions. Who is sponsoring me? Where is the finances coming from? Because this is quite expensive. If you've answered that, do I have anyone living in the UK? Because in this process, the most expensive part of this process is the accommodation. Compared to where you live in Ghana, where you live in Nigeria, accommodation is quite expensive here in the UK. So do you have someone to accommodate you? Mind you, if you have someone in mind, you need to also talk to the person, because for example, if you assume that this person is going to help you and not knowing that this person cannot even accept visitors at the moment, you're shooting yourself in the leg, because some people live in shared apartments. They are not allowed to have visitors for more than some particular number of days. So you don't need to be angry if you ask someone and they say, no, we cannot accommodate you, because things are quite different here in the UK. So who is going to accommodate you? Do you have someone to accommodate you? If yes, it makes your expenses better. If no, you are going to be prepared to spend as much as you can. So after you've said that, do you have the money? Do you have the money to sponsor yourself to the UK? Do you have the money for your OSCE? And mind you, you applying for your OSCE, you paying for your OSCE does not guarantee that you'll be given the visa. You need to follow due processes before you'll be granted the visa. Do you understand? So once you've done that, are you currently working or are you not working? Because the UK consulate, like every other visa application, wants to know that you have strong ties in your own country and you would not become an illegal immigrant in their own country. So if they are going to grant you a visa, you must have solid reasons why they need to grant you a visa. So another thing you need to say is, oh, your employer, are they ready to give you, are they ready to give you a letter of leave or a letter of recommendation? This is one of the major reasons why a lot of people were denied their visa. When I was coming, I was able to, use the short-term study visa, but it has now been scrapped and you need to apply as a visitor. You need to apply for a visit visa to be able to come to the country. So I would strongly also advise that you make use of a visa advisor, someone that is going to assist you in this process, because fine, you can do it by yourself, but there are some technical parts, especially in showing the proof of your, showing proof that you have money that can sustain you during this process, and some other important information. I started the visa application by myself and I was really, really scared. I was like, oh my goodness, something did not sit right with this, and I stopped and opened a fresh application. Like, I met someone, a professional, that was able to open a new application. I got a refund for the one I already opened, and after that she asked me some salient information that I never knew I needed, especially, for example, the letter from your employer. She asked me for that. It was very difficult for me to get it because the employer, I just transitioned job, and the employer was like, you've left us, we can't give you this information, you understand? I'm like, I've worked here for the last how many months, and this is also showing in my bank account. I just need to, support the information that I worked with you. So I later got the letter from someone, and it was fine, and I was able to use to apply to my visa. Every other person that applied after me were denied. That was because of some flimsy excuses, just some flimsy excuses. They needed something, they needed another thing. But to God be the glory, all the other people are already in the UK and they got sponsors from their country. So the visa application, you need to gather all your information together. You need to gather all the information that you need together, to be able to start your application. Or even when you start your application, you need to complete it, I think, within 21 days. So the sooner you know what you need, the better for you. So like I said, you've registered with NMC UK, you've done your CBT, you've done your IELTS, you've asked yourself this question: who is sponsoring me? Am I sponsoring myself? Do I have people who are ready to sponsor me? Do I have anybody in the UK that is willing to accommodate me? Or am I going to pay for my accommodation by myself? Am I working? Am I not working? How do I prove that I'm going to come back to my home country? Because mind you, you cannot transfer your visit visa to a tier 2 visa in your country, in the UK, but you have to come back to your home country, then reapply for your tier 2 visa. So like I'm saying, know the cost of what you want to do. How much is the visa fee? How much is your OSCE? How much will your accommodation cost? How much do you need to have to be able to, to maintain or to sustain you in the UK for a period of time? So like I usually say, the easiest and the most simple way to go about this is, if you have someone living in the UK, that is the best way to go about it. Because if the person is, if the person is stable in the UK, it makes the proof of fund, the amount you are going to show that you have, it makes it very flexible. And this is where your visa advisor will come in. They need to check your application, to give you more information, to help you, tell you information about what you need, to make that application very strong. Because if your application is not very strong, they are going to deny you the visa regardless of how much you've paid. So all the things that you need to print, everything that you think you need, print them out, and they should be used with your supporting information. I printed my NMC application, the front page, my authorization to test. Then I registered for my OSCE exam. Yes, I did pay for my OSCE exam. It was £794. I paid for my OSCE exam, printed the date. I had a date in mind. I printed out the email they gave me that you've been assigned this particular date, you've paid for this particular date. And thankfully I had an aunt and an uncle in the UK that were ready to accommodate me. So they gave me their information, the front page of their visa, of their passport. It was a British passport, but anyone can just print it out. The front page of their passport, the council tax to show the address that I'm living in this country already, I'm paying my council tax. They printed that out for me. Some of their other utility bill, she puts in a pay slip. No, she puts in a pay slip for me. I think some other people, they have to print out their bank statements for you to to show the government that I am able to accommodate and support this person for the period of time. And also she sent a cover letter that stated that I am going to sponsor or support show me Mary Abisola for the period of 6 weeks that she's going to be here, or for the period of time she's going to be here, with accommodation, feeding, and all of that. So those, I think I'm going to look for the templates of the letter and maybe upload it to a Google Drive and just attach it here. So apart from that, I also had to print out all my bank statements. You also need to have a substantial amount of money in your account. I think I had some little amounts in my account, so I printed it out and also added to that for them to know that I have a job, I have a paying job already, and I am going to come back to my job. So I applied for, I was working as an intern with the government. I applied for some letters from them, to show them that they are happy for me to take my leave within this period of time, even though they said I couldn't come back to the employment, but it wasn't like clearly stated. They just stated that they are happy for me to go. They are aware that I am going for this so exam within this so period of time. So it's not something that you can do and just run away with. Your workplace needs to be aware. For example, if you have a annual leave period, you can put it within that period and tell them to give you a supporting information, and that supporting information should come with the company's letterhead and a company email. You understand? I used my line manager. Yes, the Lagos State didn't give me, but the PHC where I worked, the matron was able to give me the letter with the government letterhead. So that made my application stronger. Also, they were aware that my parents were in the country. Everything, I just applied everything. And the one thing they corrected was when I stated how much was in my account and how much I was willing to spend on this travel. So that was able to it was able to sustain my application. When I went there, I got the visa and I was so happy. But other people that did not put in their employer's letter, they got denied. Reasons why people have been denied is that they didn't put in their employer's letter, or the amount they are saying they have does not correlate to how much they earn. You understand? If someone is sponsoring you, you need to show you have strong ties with the person that is sponsoring you, especially if the person is not in the UK already. For example, if it is your father that is sponsoring you, you need to, show your birth certificate, show as many information as you can. You have to put it there. And when they say any other relevant information, write the story, this person, how the person is related to you. You understand? Just write that story, how you're willing to come back to the UK, because you will come back to your own country, to complete anything. Just putting that in your information. And I'm sure if you employ the services of your visa advisor, they are able to advise you better on what to do. So after I registered for my OSCE, I did all of that. I was granted my visa. I came to the UK, and the next thing for me to do was to prepare for my exam. I kid you not, it was not an easy time. I took a whole month to prepare for my exam. I was watching a lot of videos on your YouTube, especially a lot of videos on YouTube. Then when you register for your OSCE, you are given some printout, you are given some practice. They will just give you some materials to be able to study. Those materials will really help you. They will tell you what to do. Read it detailedly, because that's really what you need to practice. So those materials, I had them, I printed them off. I started doing my mock exam, practicing all by myself, because I didn't have anyone. I was supposed to have someone to tutor me, but COVID happened. She was unable to do that, and she refunded the money. But I have seen someone on YouTube, which I think I would also invite to this channel, Dank GH or Dank GH. They do OSCE training online OSCE training. I'm going to invite her to the channel to ask her if do they offer paid services or anything. But if you go to their YouTube channel, you find a lot of information there. You understand? This is not a sponsored post. I don't even know her. I only know that she uploads her videos to my Telegram page, so that's why I'm talking about this. Yeah, so once you prepare for your exam, make sure to read as much as you can, get as many resources as you can, get people who have done this exam to give you more information. Now that the OSCE is increasingly hard to pass, you need to take your time to prepare for the exam. So after you've prepared for the exam, once you do your OSCE and you pass your OSCE, your PIN is going to arrive within the next 30 to 35 days, maybe 41 days. Mind you, because you're on a visit visa, you need to keep on your toes, to keep calling them, to release your PIN. So once you've passed your OSCE exam, the next thing for you is to start getting a job. You will still apply for jobs, but let me tell you something, your application is going to go above other applications because you've applied for your OSCE, you've passed your OSCE. Another thing is you can call the hospitals directly, call the matron. When you see a vacancy, they're going to attach some numbers. They call them, hello, I have seen this vacancy, I'm in the UK at the moment. Even if you've applied for that job, I've previously applied for this job, I've not gotten, but I'm in the UK at the moment, I've passed my OSCE. I would like to know if I can apply, or I would like to just get more information from you. So it's either they pull out your application from the past, or they ask you to reapply for that post and schedule an interview with you, or you say, I would like to schedule an interview before I go back to my own country. Is that okay with you? First interview I got was the job I got. It's very, very easy for you to get a job once you're already in the country. To my people that are already in the UK as a dependent, or you're on the dependent visa, what you also need to do is similar to all I have said in this video. Just do your pass your CBT. You don't even need to do your OSCE. Sometimes you can call these people and tell them that I'm in the UK, I'm on the dependent visa, can I get, just talk to them. Then they will give you a job. They'll give you a job. Once you have your interview and they're a midwife, you know what to say, they will definitely grant you a job. Another thing I'm going to say is that if you're already in the UK as a registered nurse, you want to apply to be a registered midwife, all you need to do is to go to your NMC account and click add qualification. It will ask you what more qualification do you want to add. You click add your qualification as a midwife. So when you click on that, it's going to change your dashboard to the beginning. So you need to fill in your midwifery information. So you need to fill in your midwifery information, So you need to fill in your midwifery. So you need to fill in your midwifery information, pay another £140 for your registration, then do your CBT. You don't need to write your IELTS, you need to do your CBT. Once you pass your CBT, you can either start looking for jobs there and there. Even in your trust, you can speak to the maternity, tell them you are a midwife, you are a nurse here, but you want to switch to midwifery. They are happy and well to support you. Attend open days, apply for jobs, or do your OSCE on your own, get your PIN and also apply for job. If you have any other questions regarding self-sponsoring yourself, changing your career from being a nurse, healthcare assistant to a midwife here in the UK, provided you have your license. Please have your midwifery license. If you don't have your midwifery license, you need to go through midwifery training again. So provided you have your license, you can chat me up on Instagram at @noshowme, and I'm willing and happy to help you out with your application. So if there's any questions you want to ask me, drop those questions in the comment box and I will be replying them there and there. Thank you for watching this video. Till we meet again in our next video. Bye for now.